topic for today is a continuation of this series that we have been doing lately related to how to use ChatGPT to boost your robotics development. And today we are going to be doing class 2, which is going to be focused on how we can use ChatGPT in order to debug, to solve ROS-related errors faster. So yeah, this is going to be the topic for today. I hope you can get something from this class. And first of all, let me know if everything is fine with the video, the audio, and everything. Let me have a quick look here at the chat. Your audio is not good. Okay.
Hello, hello. Hello, is it better now? I hope so. All right, so let me actually go to my computer screen so that I can have the chat here with everybody. Yeah, let me right now switch here to my computer screen. There we go. Let me get into the class. All right, that's better now. I can hear you. Okay, so apparently the audio is good now. All right, excellent. Then, yeah, so we are ready to start. Then, as always, the very first thing you need to do is to get today's rosject. All right, so in order to do this, all you have to do is to click here in the button, which is right above the chat, which says fork, and open the class rosject. Okay? This is the very first thing that I want you to do right now. I'm going to click here myself. Eddie is asking, is this recorded? If so, can we watch it later? Yes, Eddie, so right now we are live, but this class is being recorded and we are going to upload it later, probably tomorrow, to our YouTube channel. So you can watch it later there, rewatch it if you want. All right, so let me click here in the button in order to get the rosject for today's class. There we go. All right. Then what you are going to see here is so you are going to be brought here to the main rosject page, which is this one here. It might take some seconds to fully load. And here in the right side, you can see the streaming area with the live stream, the chat. Sela Van says, it's not available for me. What? It's not available? For you, Sela? And what I'm going to do is to move this streaming panel to another page, actually, so that I can have some more space here to work on my project. And actually, let me come here so that I can have the chat and everything. There we go. All right, let's close all this here. Close all this so that. Okay. There we go. So as soon as the rosject loads, you are going to, you should see here the notebook, which is automatically opened. Okay, this is the notebook for today's class. Open class number 173. And as I was saying in the introduction, today we are going to see how to debug ROS errors faster with ChatGPT. All right, so this is going to be the topic for today's class, following this series that we have been doing lately related to how to apply ChatGPT to boost our robotics skills. So yeah, I'm going to wait until everybody has the rosject loaded so that we can continue moving all together. So Sela, have you been able to to open the rosject. Sela and everybody, of course. Eddie. Okay, I'm not seeing any comments so far, so I'm going to assume that everything is fine. Fork and open the class at the right corner, yeah, this button here. I see rosject not available yet, okay. Can you try refreshing your page, Sela? Maybe that's going to fix the issue. Refresh the browser. Okay. And for the rest, you should see a button like this one, like the one I have here. Fork and open the class rosject. Okay. Eddie says, I am new here. I will just watch. Okay. As you want, as you prefer. My recommendation is always to, as you already know, I have said this many times in previous open classes, my recommendation always is to try to apply everything that I'm going to be doing so that you can try it yourself. But if you prefer to be quiet for now and just watch, that's okay also. All right, Sela, so let me know if after refreshing the button is available for you. And it works now after refreshing the web page. Thank you. Okay, excellent, excellent. All right, then here, yeah, as I was saying, this is the Jupyter notebook for the project. So here is where I have placed all the instructions, commands, ChatGPT prompts, code, everything that we are going to be using during today's class. I have it here. So basically, I'm going to be following what the steps, all the steps and the sections that I have written here into the notebook. All right, then the very first thing that I'm going to do is to start here a ROS simulation. As always, everything that we do in open classes, we are going to apply it to robotics, okay? And therefore, we are going to be using here a simulation, a ROS2 gazebo simulation. So in order to start it, what you have to do is to execute these two commands that you have here in the notebook, okay? Now, in order to execute these commands, of course, you need to have a shell, a terminal, all right? So, in order to open a terminal, what you have to do is to click here in the button that you have here in the below menu, here with all these icons and options. So the first one that you have here, which says web shell, if you click here, this is going to open, as you can see here, a new terminal, all right? Now in this terminal, this is a regular Linux terminal. So here you can just directly, for instance, copy the commands and paste them into the terminal, okay? So first we execute the first command, and next we go with the second command. And this, after some seconds where it's starting the processes and so on, if everything goes correct, this should pop up, as you can see now here for me. It should pop up here a gazebo simulation, which should look something like this, all right, with a robot here in the center. Let's see what we get. Sometimes the first time that you start the simulation, it fails because of some timeouts related to gazebo. But in case that it fails, all you have to do is just relaunch the simulation. So execute again the command, and it's going to work for sure the second time. There we go. Now here we have the simulation. Okay, so you should get something like this, okay? It's possible that maybe if that the first time that you try to start the simulation, sometimes it can happen that the robot doesn't spawn. So you are going to see the world, the environment, but the robot, this robot that we have here, it's not going to be there in the world, okay? In case that happens, all you have to do is just press Ctrl+C here to stop the simulation and just launch again the last command to start it again. And now it's going to start correctly for sure. All right? There we go. So have you been able to start the simulation? Yes, no, let me know. So far, so good. Okay, Ernesto says, yes, I'm seeing the simulation. Excellent. Excellent. Then, yeah, so let's keep moving forward. So now we have the simulation here available. And now we are going to use it at the beginning for showing a couple of examples, all right? Then let me remind again that today we are in class number 2 of this series, which are named How Can ChatGPT Help You with Robot Programming? So last week we covered the class number 1, which was using ChatGPT to program ROS robots faster. Okay, if you didn't watch it yet, I recommend that you go there and watch it. All right, and today we are on class number 2, and we are going to see how to use ChatGPT to debug ROS-related errors faster. Okay. So the process of debugging ROS errors and trying to figure out why an error is occurring and how to fix it can be quite time-consuming, especially for beginners. Yeah, if you don't have much experience in dealing with ROS errors, or if you don't have much experience with ROS in general, the process of trying to solve errors can be hard and can take a lot of time. All right? So this is why ChatGPT can be a very, very helpful tool in this matter. Yeah, because it can either directly give you a solution to a problem. In some cases, it is as easy as that. In some other cases, maybe it cannot give you the right answer or the right solution on the first place, but it can guide you to what are the things that you should be looking at. Yeah, so it can give you this initial analysis, and it can help you point you to the right direction in order to solve the error. Okay, and so this is going to be basically the topic of today's class. So how can we use ChatGPT in order to help us solve all these ROS-related errors that we have faster? Yeah. Then we are going to start by seeing how can we or how should we write the ChatGPT prompts for this task, for debugging ROS errors. Yeah? And basically here I have divided it into two approaches. First approach is to ask ChatGPT directly about a specific error you are getting. So sometimes you are going to try to build a code and you are going to get an error message, very clear error message. Or you are going to execute a program and you are going to get an error message in the terminal. Yeah, we are going to see this in a moment. So you can ask ChatGPT directly, hey, what does this error mean? How can I solve it? Okay, this is the first approach that we are going to see. And the second one is that you can also ask ChatGPT to analyze an entire code for potential errors. Okay? So instead of asking for a particular error message that you are getting, you can also pass ChatGPT an entire code and ask him to find errors in that code. Okay? So depending on the scenario that we want, we are going to have to write different ChatGPT prompts. All right? Then let's see this in a practical example. Yeah, because right now I am just talking too much, but how we are going to clearly understand this is by doing a practical example, okay? Then we are going to start with point 1, which is to ask ChatGPT for a specific error. Okay. Now we are going to show an example for this point by using a code that we created for last class. Okay. So if you remember, in class number 1, we created an obstacle avoidance program using ChatGPT for this robot, so that the robot can move around the environment while avoiding and not crashing with the obstacles. Yeah. Then this code, you can find it in the rosject here. So you can go right now to the code editor, which is the second icon here, right besides the web shell icon. Here, the second one, which is code editor. I'm going to click here myself. And this is going to open the visual code editor, so that you are going to have access here to all the files, folders, etc., which are within this rosject. Then in this case, if you go inside the ROS2 workspace SRC folder, here you are going to find several packages here. Yeah, some of them are related to the simulation that we are running, and some of them I have added them for today's class so that we can see some examples. Yeah? In this case, the first package that you have here, you can read, it says GPT_tests. And inside here, if you open again GPT test, you are going to find this Python script. It says obstacle_avoidance.py. Okay, you can open it, for instance, by double clicking, and here you are going to find the code. So this code, basically, where it comes from? This code is the one that we generated in the last class for the obstacle avoidance, okay? But I have added some errors into the code on purpose, okay? So I have added some errors on purpose into the code because I don't want it to work perfectly. I want it to fail, okay? So that I can ask ChatGPT for help, right? Okay, then we are going to start this first example by trying to build the code, yeah? So we have our code here. The first thing that we should do if we want to execute it, to try it, is to build the code, all right? So let's come again here to the shell, to the terminal, and we are going to open a second terminal, okay? We are going to leave the first one, this one, running, because this one is the one that contains the simulation. So if we close it, obviously the simulation is going to stop, and we don't want that. So we are going to open a second shell, brand new shell, so that we can run commands here. And then here we are going to run the following commands, all right? So we are going to go first to the ROS2 workspace, and then we are going to run the colcom build package in order to build this GPT tests ROS2 package. Okay? There we go. Okay, so we get this warning here, which is normal, but the package has built correctly. Yeah, so it has built without any errors. So far, so good. So let's source the workspace as always. And now, in order to try the code, we are going to run this command. Okay? So let's copy it here from the notebook and paste it here. Okay, and now we are getting an error, yeah? So we can see that the robot is not moving at all, and the program basically didn't execute. Yeah, so here we have all the traceback for the error, and usually for Python scripts, below the traceback you are going to find the actual error, why the program is crashing. In this case, it's this one here. Yeah, this is the actual error that we should be looking at. And it says, attribute error, obstacle avoidance object has no attribute, laser callback. Okay, so this is basically the error message that my program is giving. Yeah? All right, so what can I do? Now I can go to the code here and see, okay, this object has no attribute laser callback, so I would have to come here to the code, analyze it, etc. But we are not going to do this. What we are going to do is to ask ChatGPT for help, all right? So how are we going to do this? So for this, we are going to write a prompt like the following. We are going to say, when trying to run a ROS2 Python node, I get the following error. Yeah, so I give ChatGPT some context. Yeah, remember from the previous class, I'm going to say it again, okay? Because here I'm using some code that we generated last class, and also in class number 1, we said that it's very important when we write ChatGPT prompts to be as specific and precise as possible, okay? So if you haven't watched class number 1, watch it after this one at least, yeah? So you go back and watch this one. So the prompt that we are going to write is the following. Okay, so I'm trying to run a ROS2 Python node. I give ChatGPT some context, and I'm getting the following error. And here I write the error message that I am getting. Yeah? Is this attribute error, obstacle avoidance object has no attribute, laser callback. This is the error that I am getting here. And then I say, so what does this mean, and how can I solve it? Yeah? Okay, so now let's open a ChatGPT, all of you, in chatgptopenai.com, okay? And now we are going to paste the prompt here. So let me go back to a notebook. I'm going to copy the prompt from here. I don't know if it copied. Let me do it like this. Copy here. And I'm going to paste it here. Yeah? So when trying to run a ROS2 Python node, I get the following error. What does it mean, and how can I solve it? Send. Okay, so I sent the message to ChatGPT, and here ChatGPT is already giving me the answer. Let's wait until it finishes. Okay, so let's see what ChatGPT tells us. The error message you are seeing, attribute error, whatever, indicates that you are trying to access an attribute or method called laser callback on an object of the obstacle avoidance class. But that attribute or method doesn't exist in your class definition. Okay, so this is the reason of the error. First of all, it's telling me this. So I have a class obstacle avoidance, which is trying to access a method, laser callback. And the problem is that this method doesn't exist in obstacle avoidance, in the obstacle avoidance class, right? So if I come here to the code, I can see that indeed, yes, I have a class which is named obstacle avoidance, and here I have a method init, which is the constructor. I have a method named myCallback, and another method named moveRobot. But indeed, ChatGPT is right. I don't have any method named laser callback. So here is the reason of the problem. And now ChatGPT continues. To solve this issue, you need to ensure that you have defined a method named laser callback within your obstacle avoidance class. Here an example of how you might define the laser callback method within your class for a ROS2 Python node. And even it provides me some example code here. Yeah? So that I can have some reference. And then it continues. In this example, obstacle avoidance is a class representing your ROS2 node. Inside the class, the init method creates a subscription to the laser topic, specifying the laser callback method as the callback function. Make sure you have a method named laser callback within your class definition, and that it takes the necessary arguments. In this case, it's a message of type laserscan. Yeah? So let's go back to our code. Okay, so in our code, we can see that we have the obstacle avoidance class, and indeed, here we have a subscription. We are creating a subscriber for the scan topic. And I am specifying here a method, a callback method, which is named laser callback. Yeah? So here I'm saying, okay, this subscriber is using this laser callback method. But then in the rest of the class, I don't have defined this laser callback method. I have one method which is named myCallback and another method which is named moveRobot. Okay, so what I should have is something like this. If I am defining a subscriber with a callback method which is named laser callback, then I should define a laser callback method, right? So basically this is the problem in my code, that I am here specifying that my subscriber is going to use a laser callback method, but then I don't have this method. Instead, I have another method which is named my callback. So what I should do is basically to rename this method to laser callback, right? Yeah? This is what ChatGPT suggests to me. Note that I haven't sent my code or anything here to ChatGPT. I have just asked about this error message. Yeah? So ChatGPT at this point knows nothing about my code. All right? But even though ChatGPT is able to analyze the problem and tell me where probably the error is and how to solve it. All right. So now let's go back here to our terminal. Let's compile again. Let's source. And let's try to run again our program. Okay. So now, as you can see, we don't have anymore this error. Yeah? So this error is gone. We have fixed it. All right. So good job, ChatGPT. However, the program is still not running, as you can see, and the robot is not moving at all. Okay? But we are going to go there in a moment. So far so good. Are you guys following? Does it make sense? Have you tested in ChatGPT to send the same prompt? Any questions so far? No? Okay, then I'll keep moving forward. All right. So, yeah, so ChatGPT has helped us solve this problem, okay? We don't have anymore this program, but still the program is not running, okay? So, what should we do? Okay, now we have solved the first issue using ChatGPT, but now we are going to move to the second approach, which is ask ChatGPT to analyze entire code. Yeah? Then in order to do this, we can use a prompt like the following one. So it says, scan the following code for potential errors. And then here we paste the code that we want ChatGPT to analyze, which in this case, it's this code, of course. Yeah? Then let's write this into ChatGPT now. Let's continue and say, okay, scan the following code. What did it say? Scan the following code for potential errors. For potential errors. 2 points here. Let me change the Spanish. 2 points. And here, then I'm going to paste the entire code. So I'm going to copy it here from the code editor. Copy the entire code and paste into ChatGPT. There we go. Okay, so scan the following code for potential errors. Submit. Okay, let's give some time to GPT to analyze the code for errors. Okay, let's see what ChatGPT is telling us. All right, so the provided code appears to be well structured and follows the general pattern for a ROS2 Python node that subscribes to a laser scan data, processes the data, and publishes control commands to avoid obstacles. However, there is a minor issue in the move robot method where the twist linear x and twist angular z values are assigned incorrectly. Here's the corrected version of the move robot method. Twist linear, linear, and twist angular, angular. So if I go to my code and I analyze the move robot, I can see that basically the purpose of this move robot method is to receive a linear velocity and an angular velocity and publish these velocities to the robot. Yeah? And here, what I am doing is to assign the angular velocity to the linear part of the twist message. And I am assigning the linear velocity to the angular part of the message, okay? So even though this is not a syntax error, okay, because the syntax is correct, but ChatGPT is detecting that this doesn't make sense, yeah, because the angular velocity should be assigned to the angular part of the twist message, and the linear velocity should be assigned to the linear part of the message, and not like this. Yeah? So even though it is not a syntax error in the code, it is something that doesn't make very much sense. Okay? So it's telling me, hey, this doesn't look very well. It should be like this, right? Okay. So let's actually use the code corrected from GPT and paste it here. So linear should be, let me put it here, and angular should be angular. Okay, so let's continue. It says, in the original code, the twist linear x was assigned the angular speed and twist angular z was assigned the linear speed, which is not the intended behavior. Very well. And it continues. Additionally, I noticed that the RCLPy spin node line is commented out in the main function. So in the main function, indeed, we can see that the spin is commented out. It says, if you want the node to continue processing messages and responding to laser scan data, you should uncomment this line. Here's the updated main function. Okay, here it gives me an updated main function where it is uncommenting the spin line. It says, uncomment this line to keep the node running. Okay, so let's trust ChatGPT on this one. I'm going to uncomment this line. Okay, and then it finishes saying, other than these minor points, the code seems functional and should work for basic obstacle avoidance with a robot using laser scan data. Okay, then let's go back to our terminal and let's recompile the code with the modifications suggested by ChatGPT. Okay, as always, remember to source the workspace. And now we are going to try to run again the program with ROS2 run, GPT tests, obstacle avoidance node. Okay, and okay, so now if we go to the simulation, we can see that now actually the robot is moving, and as you can see, it has just avoided this obstacle correctly. Yeah? So now actually the code is not giving any error, it keeps running, which it wasn't happening before, and actually it's working as intended. So the robot is moving around, and we are going to see now that it's getting close to the wall, if it is still able to avoid it, to avoid crashing against the wall. there it goes. And yeah, we can see that when it starts detecting the wall, actually the robot turns to avoid it. All right, awesome. So let me already stop here the program. And yeah, so using the help of ChatGPT, we have been able to solve the problems that we were having with the code and have it working. Yeah? Ernesto says, I got more or less the same answer. Andres Gomez, it is the first time that I have seen this approach. What approach you mean, Andres? All right, so what about you? Have you got a similar answer, different answer? Have you tried the example yourself? Yes, no? Are you following so far what I am showing and what I am doing? Does it make sense? It does, says Thomas. Neumeyer. Okay, excellent. Then let's keep moving forward. Let's keep going for it. All right, yeah, so then in this second approach, as you can see, we have sent the entire code for ChatGPT to analyze, yeah? So I sent him all the code, and I ask him, okay, scan the following code for potential errors, and then ChatGPT analyzes the whole code, and it answers with the potential errors that he finds in the code, all right? So these are the two approaches that I wanted to show here, okay? This one where we sent the full code to be analyzed by ChatGPT, and the other one, the first one, which is to ask ChatGPT about a specific error message that we are getting. Okay? These are the two approaches that I wanted to introduce and in today's class. Okay? All right, and now to finish, we are going to complete here a second section where I'm going to use ChatGPT to fix real errors that we are getting in our forum. So as you might already know, we have a forum in the construct, which you can go by clicking on this Get Help green button in the bottom right corner. Yeah. Not this. Wait, where it is the forum button? Ah, here it is. Down here, go to the forum. Yeah. So I don't know if you knew it, probably yes, or maybe some of you don't, but we have the forum, which is quite active in general, okay? And here you can find questions, many questions by our students who are doing the courses, and they run into errors, they have doubts, whatever. So they post them here in our forum, and we try to provide support as fast as we can, all right? Then what I did for this second part of the class is to select a couple of examples, two in concrete, case 1 and case 2 here. I selected a couple of examples from the forum questions that we have received in the last few days, and I tried to solve them by asking ChatGPT, okay? So this is what we are going to see now. Then let's just start with case number 1. Here, right down, you have the link to the forum question. So you can open this here in a new tab, and this is going to take you to the actual forum question, which this one, for instance, was made 6 days ago. Yeah, and here we have the post from this student, which says, "Hello, I am trying to create a C++ library with some dependencies in ROS2. I did this tutorial from the open classes. Now I want to modify the library from the course. But when I want to do a library which has some dependencies, I always get compiling errors. And here he shows an screenshot of the error. Yeah? You can see it says fatal error, std messages, message flow 32 HPP, no such file or directory. Okay? And it even indicates the line of the error, which is line number 4 with this line of code. Then it provides a lot of information, which is great. This is how every question in the forum should be. He says, this is how the source file looks. And he shows his source file. And this is how the header file looks. And he shows his header file. And then he also shows the contents of the CMake list file and the package XML file. Okay? He says, he finally asks, so does anyone know where I need to add the dependencies such that I can compile my library? Thanks in advance for any help. So this is a great example because we can very easily reproduce his case. And this is what I have done here. Yeah? So if we go back to the code editor, you are going to see here a package inside the SRC folder, which is my value converter library. Okay? And inside here, I have basically reproduced the same case that this student is having. Okay? So I have created this source file, yeah, which you can find inside SRC here, my value converter library CPP. Okay? You can see this is the code. Also the header file, which is here, library header, okay? Actually, I have added a couple of modifications, especially to the CPP file, because this code was wrong, okay? He had some problems in the code, which are apart from this error, okay? Other things. But, yeah, then I also reproduced the CMake list, which you can find here, with the contents that he shows here in the post message, and also the package XML, which we have here. Okay? Then let's try to compile this, and let's see what error we get. So let's go to the ROS2 workspace here, and try to compile this package, my value converter library. So let me copy the message and paste it here. Call compile package select my value converter library. Okay, so it's trying to compile, and as you can see, we are getting the exact same error that the student is reporting. So it says fatal error, std messages, message flow 32, no such file or directory. And the error is in this include. As you can see, this is the exact same error that the student is having. Okay? So, what am I going to do? I'm going to ask ChatGPT. I'm going to use the following approach. So I'm going to provide some context, which is when building a custom library for ROS2, I'm getting the following error. Fatal error, std message, no such file or directory. And then I ask, what does it mean and how can I solve it? Yeah? So let me copy this here, copy the prompt, and paste it here to ChatGPT. Let's see what ChatGPT tells us. Okay, there it's writing his answer. Let's give him some time so that it can properly write. There it is. Okay, let me go here. I mean, I never use ChatGPT to find books in my programs. Thank you so much. Ah, okay, I see, Andres. Yeah, so now you know that you can do that. Okay. Okay, I think it finished. Okay, let's see. It says the error message, fatal error, std, no such file or directory, indicates that the compiler cannot find the header file in the std message directory. This usually happens when your ROS2 package is missing a dependency or the necessary package is not properly sourced in your workspace. Here are some steps to solve the issue. Okay? And then it provides several steps. So check package dependencies. Okay? So we should have in our package XML these lines of code: build depend on standard messages and execution depend on standard messages. And then we can come here to our case and we can see, do I have this? Yes, I do. I have build depend and exec depend. Okay, so this one I have it already, so this shouldn't be. Then it says source your ROS to workspace. Make sure that you source. Okay, I can tell that this is not the error either. Yeah. Then it says check your ROS2 installation. I can tell you that this is correct as well. Check the message generation. If you are using custom messages, it is not the case. We are not using custom message. Clean and rebuild. Check file and folder names and check file permissions. So in this case, the answer provided is not correct. Okay? I mean, it is correct, but so all this is perfectly fine, but it's not the reason of our error, okay? And this is good that it happens because this is a limitation in ChatGPT, okay? So sometimes, even though it can give us some good advices, it might not give us the actual reason of the error, okay? So you have to bear this in mind. Yeah, ChatGPT is not perfect and it's not going to solve every problem in our life. Yeah? However, it can actually solve this error, as you can see here, yeah, in the provided answer that I got on my tests. And this is another thing. So you can see, I can open right now a new chat in ChatGPT and ask the exact same question. Okay, there we go. When building a custom library for ROS2, I'm getting the following error. I'm using exactly the same prompt, and I'm going to submit it. And it is very likely that the answer provided is going to be different. See, so right now we can see already that it's different. It's point number one, it's to check the ROS2 installation. Yeah. See, and now it is mentioning the CMake list actually file. Okay, so now, as you can see, if you compare this answer with the one that we got previously, which it was, it doesn't want to load. There we go. You can see that the answer is very different, yeah? And this goes and goes. So if I try yet, I remove this one and I try to ask again, yeah? And this is because very likely, see, well, now I am asking a third time the same question and he says, hey, which one do you prefer? Yeah? And I can tell, okay, I prefer this one. Yeah, so let's remove. I don't know, it's still generating here based on what we had previously. And now, indeed, I think that he has given me the right answer. Yeah? Yeah, so here is the third one that it has generated. Yeah? And now it says the error message you're encountering indicates that the compiler cannot find the header file. Yeah, so the reason of the error, it is clear. Yeah? But now it gives me options. And one of the options here is this one, which is very important. Yeah? It says, in your CMake list txt file, you should add the following lines to ensure your package links against the std messages package. And he says, okay, you should have this find package method. So if I go to my CMake list txt file here, let's go there. I do have this line, find package std messages, okay? But the second line that it suggests is, hey, you should also have these amend target dependencies with your package name and standard messages. Yeah? And here, if I look for these amend target dependencies, I can see that actually I don't have it. Yeah? Okay? And as you can see, this is more similar to the answer that I got while creating this notebook, where it shows, see here, what my CMake should look like, which is something like this, with all the proper methods that I should add. So what if I try to add here amend target dependencies? If I add this here to my CMake list file, for instance, let's add it here, amend target dependencies, and then actually what I should do is to link standard messages to my library here. Sorry, it's this and this. Okay, so these amend target dependencies. Yeah. So now if I come here and I try to rebuild my library, you are going to see that now the library works correctly. Okay? So, okay, in this case number 1, we can see that ChatGPT can be actually used to solve real world examples, yeah? So problems, errors, questions that our students are having in their journey studying through our courses and classes. So ChatGPT is also able to solve these kind of errors to students, okay? But also you have to be careful. You have to be careful because sometimes, yeah, it might miss the desired answer, okay? Yeah? Does it make sense so far? Yeah? So now let's see the second example, use case number 2. And here we have the link to the forum question also, so you can open it to check it out. And here it says, this is also a very, very typical error that many ROS beginners have. And he says, this student says, hello masters, I'm doing the unit 3 topic quiz and I tried to launch the launch file as below, but got the error not found, but the launch file is located at, yeah, he says, got the error not found, but the launch file is located at topics quiz launch directory. I'm not sure why it goes to look in the shared directory. Please help. And then here he shows the error message that he is getting, right? Okay, then what we are going to do is to reproduce this example. Yeah, so unfortunately, in this case, we don't have the code here, but I know what code he is referring to. So basically, I set up a similar example here. Yeah. So in order to reproduce it, let's again build this topics quiz package that he is referring to. So let's build the package. Topics quiz. There we go. And now let's try to launch the launch file with the following command. ROS2 launch topics quiz launch file.launch.py. Okay, I'm going to try to execute this, and then I get the following error. File topics quiz launch file was not found in the shared directory of package topics quiz. As you can see, this is the same error that this student is having. Yeah? File topics quiz launch file was not found in the shared directory of package topics quiz, which is at whatever. Yeah? Okay, so we have the same scenario of this student. Then what are we going to do? Yes, you know, we are going to ask ChatGPT. Then I'm going to say, when executing a ROS2 launch file, I get the following error. and then I paste the error message, what does it mean and how can I solve it? Yeah? So let's copy this, and I'm going to paste here the message. I'm going to send the message to ChatGPT. There we go. Let's give some time to ChatGPT for writing the answer. And now, this point, you are going to see it in a moment, is also important because sometimes the solution provided by ChatGPT is not going to be straightforward. It might happen, as you have seen some examples, that it directly gives the solution. But in some other cases, it's not going to be so obvious. So you are going to have to analyze a little bit and provide more context so that ChatGPT can help you better. Okay? Let's see what answer we get, and we will see if this is the example. Okay, so here it says, the error message you are seeing indicates that the launch file, whatever, is not found in the expected location within the shared directory of the topics with package. In ROS2, launch files are typically stored in the shared directory of a package. Okay, to solve this issue, you can follow these steps. Check the file existence. So make sure that the file actually exists in your ROS2 package directory. Verify the file's presence. It says check the package structure. Ensure that your ROS2 package, okay, so here it's asking us to check the file structure. We can do all this. Yeah, we can do it for instance. Sorry. Yeah, so we can come here and check all this. And in this specific case, here it's asking us to check inside the share. So this is inside install. Yeah? Install, topics with, share, topics with, and we can see that in our case, inside topics with, we don't have any launch folder, which we should. Okay, so yeah, actually this is the error. It says rebuild your package. Check package name in the launch command. Okay, yeah, so all this is correct. Check your ROS2 workspace, file name case sensitive. Okay, permissions, yeah. So in this case, for instance, it's not guiding us correctly through the right answer. So I'm going to create here another chat and saying again the same prompt, and you will see that now it generates a different output. Hopefully, let's see. Yeah, so not here. Also here, I'm not getting the same answer because what I was looking for is that it provides some information related to the cmakelist.txt in order to install, okay? But let's point ChatGPT to the right direction because as we can see, the problem is related to this install space of your ROS2 workspace, right? So it says, the error message indicates that the ROS2 launch system could not find the specified launch file in the shared directory of the topics with package. This directory is typically located in the install space of your ROS2 workspace. So, file existence. First and foremost, make sure that the launch file exists in your package launch directory. Yeah? So here we have seen already that in our install folder, yes, inside the topics with package, our launch file doesn't exist. Yeah? And very likely, as ChatGPT is saying, this might be the reason of the error, behind the error, right? So let's ask ChatGPT about this, okay? So my ROS2 launch file is not installed inside the install folder of the ROS2 workspace. how can I install it? Okay, let's try to ask this. Yeah, so I am changing a little bit the prompt because I am getting different answers from ChatGPT. Yeah, so I'm not going to use this one, but I am improvising right now. Okay, so based on the answers I'm getting from ChatGPT, I'm diving a little bit deeper. Okay, because I'm not quite getting the answer I want, but it is pointing me to the right direction because I know from what ChatGPT is saying that I should have the launch file in my install folder. So in my case, I don't have it. Why? How can I make to install it? So let's ask this. Okay, there we go. So now ChatGPT is giving me the instructions about what should I do in order to install this launch file in the install folder. Okay, so in the first answers that we analyzed, we can look at the other one, or in this one. Yeah, so in this answer or the previous one that we got here, yeah, the solution was that the launch file is not found inside the install folder. Okay, so also here it mentions this, yeah, that we should have the launch file inside the install folder. But we don't have it in our case. So then I am switching and I am asking ChatGPT, okay, so I don't have it inside my install. What should I do? What can I do to install it there? And then now ChatGPT gives me the instructions, okay? But here it's telling me how to install launch files in a CMake list.txt file, yeah? So it says, okay, in ROS2, launch files are typically installed inside the install folder of the worst case during the installation process. If your launch file is not being installed, you can ensure that it gets installed correctly by following these steps. Okay, so step 1, make sure that you have a launch folder with a launch file. Yeah, I have a launch folder with a launch file inside. Okay, so the structure here is correct. Second, modify CMake list.txt to install launch files. Okay, but now this answer is assuming that I have a CMake list, and I don't, because this package is a Python package. Okay, so then I'm going to re-ask ChatGPT about how to install launch files, but in a Python package instead of a CMake package. Okay, how can I install? And now, well, now here I have arrived to the final question that I had here. How to install a launch file in a ROS2 Python package? Yeah. And now here it's telling me again, yeah, so in ROS2 to install a Python launch file in a Python package, you need to make sure your package structure is organized correctly, and you specify the installation instructions in your CMake list.txt. Yeah, this is wrong because this is the setup py, not CMake. Yeah, so here it's still, I don't know why, it's giving me the answer of the CMake list. It should give the answer of the setup.py. Okay, let me try to regenerate this. Yeah, see, so now it is correct. Now it's telling me modify the setup.py, yeah? So this happens sometimes in ChatGPT, especially for ROS2, yeah? In ROS1, it's, I would say that it's much more robust. But in ROS2, yeah, sometimes you have to be careful with this. Okay, and now it says, organize your package structure Ensure that your launch files are located in the launch directory. We have already checked this. And then modify setup py to include launch files. Open the setup file, add the launch argument to the setup function with the appropriate parameters. Here's an example. Yeah? And here it is directly showing us this line here in order to install launch files. Okay? Yeah? So I can see here that it is actually installing the launch file. Yeah? Because this, in my setup.py, I don't have it. Okay, if I analyze my setup.py and I compare it with the one that is being provided with ChatGPT, you will see that this is actually the line that is missing. Yeah. So I'm going to directly copy this line here into my setup.py, and then here I have to change the name of the launch file. Yeah, because my launch file is actually named like this: topics with launch file. So topics with launch file.launch.py. Yeah. Okay, so I add this line here, and then I rebuild the package, I source, and I'm going to launch again, execute again my launch file like this, and now you can see that it has executed correctly. Okay? Yeah? So basically, what I wanted to show here in this second example is that sometimes, or even lots of times, you are not going to get the answer from the first answer from ChatGPT. So what you are going to have to do is to analyze what ChatGPT is telling you and compare it with your problem. Yeah? And then based on that, you are going to be able to keep asking questions to investigate deeper into the problem. Yeah? As we have seen here in this example. Yeah? So, conclusion. ChatGPT can help you a lot, as you can see, but at the end, you are going to have to also be there in order to analyze and to think and to point ChatGPT into the right direction so that you get the answers that you are looking for. Okay? Yeah? Do you understand the point here? Does it make sense? Any questions so far? Is it clear? Yeah, so at the end, what you are going to have to do is to try it yourselves. Okay, so here you can see how I am doing it, but at the end, the best way and the best training is that you apply this yourself and you try it by yourself. And yeah, and every time you are going to get better and better and better, and you are going to be able to to use ChatGPT much better in order to boost your problem solving skills. Okay? Sela says, I'm clear. All right. Awesome. All right, then, yeah, so I think I'm going to leave it here with this final use case. So, yeah, thanks a lot to everybody for being here with me during this class. I hope that you've liked it. I hope that you have learned something new and something that you can start applying already to your robotics development or to your development in general, actually. So, yeah, thanks a lot for being here with me. I will see you again next class, next week, which we are going to cover the final point, which let me go back here, which is to using ChatGPT to understand third-party ROS code faster. Okay? Also very interesting topic. So I will wait you next week in the class number 3 of this series. So, yeah. As always, until then, Take care and keep pushing your ROS learning. Bye bye.